Hi, Taz. It's good to speak with you today. As you know, we are doing the series of Humans of MHT, where we're looking at each different therapist and just asking what humanness means to them and what human feature they bring to their practice. So I'm excited to specifically talk with you because you know that I find you very interesting. And I'm so curious just to start off by hearing what does humanness mean to you?
Yeah, I'm excited to be talking too, but talking with you too, although I'm feeling anxious about this. Um,
Which is a human emotion.
which is very human. Yeah. And yeah, I've been thinking about this question, like what does humanness mean to you? And some of it I kept coming back to like I really don't know, or that what
Mm.
excites me about being human, I guess, is the attempt to kind of make meaning of what it means to be human.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I feel like I kept thinking about, I think it's the from a Rumi poem, like that basically saying like this being human thing is a guest house.
Mm.
And so there's something about humanness to me that has to do a lot with like mystery, and not ever fully knowing like why we're here. But I guess being a lot like, I don't know, getting excited or feeling alive by the attempt to understand why we are here. Um,
I feel like this is your biggest strength as a therapist is your you don't just tolerate unknown, you sort of thrive in the unknown. And it sounds like that's part of what you're getting at when you think about this idea of humanness.
yeah, that there's something uncertain or ambiguous about being human, and it makes us, I guess, vulnerable to, I don't know, pain or loss.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's this other part of, I guess, my understanding of humanness that's important. I don't know, it's about imagination too, that we have all this strength and like resources to contend with the ambiguity, that we have our imaginations, I think, to build bridges in this sort of seemingly what sometimes feels like an abyss.
Hmm.
And so I think what has helped me, I don't know, make sense of my experience is the arts or humanities. Um, and I look to, yeah, like films or philosophy or literature, um, to kind of get an understanding of like what it means to be human. And so I think those things to me give me the most like sort of answers or solace, like not conclusions, but
Hmm.
they help me contend, I guess, with the ambiguity. Um,
This feels related to what you picked for your humanness feature, which was the practice of mindfulness and meditation. And so I wonder how that practice that you picked fits into this idea of humanness for you.
yeah, I mean, part of the reason why I chose it as something that represents my humanness is because I feel like I have a very imperfect relationship with meditation. Like, it's not a thing. I mean, recently I've been trying to do it every day, but it's like I don't feel like I don't know that I've had this like perfect easy relationship with it. Like it's been kind of complicated. Um and I like that it kind of represents um a place where I've found a certain sort of home. Like in meditation, I have a place to just go. It's like a container for just like thoughts, feelings, sensations. And it's expanded my relationship to
Mm.
myself. Um, and I think it's also a thing like I guess I would say I found meditation or stumbled upon it because I was really trying to, I think, like improve myself or eliminate like the feelings of anxiety that I was feeling or to kind of alleviate stress. And I think I thought it would be this thing to like become a better person or become calmer. And it didn't really happen. I mean, I wouldn't just like arrive at any other new place necessarily. Um, but it did change my relationship to, I guess, my
Mhm.
feelings of anxiety, that I held a much more just compassionate kind of
Mm.
space for it. Um,
I had a similar experience when I first did meditation, which was I came into it wanting to feel better. And
mm-hmm,
sometimes you don't come out of an experience of meditation feeling better um, because you're actually allowing space for you to observe all of the things that are maybe making these feelings come up for you. And so
yeah.
it's interesting that you talk about the arts as sort of the catalyst for you having creative thoughts and meaning making around humanness, and then mindfulness as the container for maybe some of those thoughts that are happening for you.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice way of putting it. Yeah.
I like
Um,
how they go together for you and they both feel very you. That one is sort of sparking things and the other is sort of just making space for things.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess there's sort of a dialogue then between the two. Um, because I think I can run sort of like wired, like I can get sort of like overwhelmed by my thoughts.
Hmm.
And this doesn't have to do with art, but I was thinking like some of why meditation feels so human to me too is because my dad also always talked about like his meditation practice when I
He's
was growing
so
up.
beyond his time or before his time, I mean.
Yeah, like I think he was sort of getting it from like hippie days or like
Mhm.
um but yeah, way before this sort of like huge boom. Um and I remember thinking like, okay, dad, like sure, great. I'm glad you have this thing that you do. Um but he and I I resonate with him a lot. Like he and I have a lot of like similar just traits, like character wise, like just in being very introverted um and so it's also in some weird way like when I meditate I feel like connected to him and more accepting of these
Mm.
traits that we both have. Because
That's
growing up, like I
cool.
also was irritated when I could see like his introversion, and I'd be like,
Mm.
ah, like why don't I have like a normal dad? I don't know. Um, so there's something about that too that it like connects to my family.
Yeah.
Um,
How do you feel like all of this shows up for you in the therapy room?
um, well, I think in the meditation coupled with like respect for the arts, I think it shows up in, gosh, I think I bring like sort of a reverence or a respect for people's like uniqueness, like their unique expression of what it means to be human or to be, embodied in this world as a human being. Um, in kind of a humility and not really knowing, like having maybe some ideas on, I don't know, ways to sort of process through pain,
Mm.
um, but not necessarily having like concrete answers right away. Um, and people often, I mean, people come to therapy often because something is hurting, like something is painful.
Hmm.
And I think what I get from meditation and from the arts is this real understanding that pain is not pathological. That doesn't necessarily mean something's wrong with you, but that you're having a human
Yeah.
experience. Um, so I know that that plays a lot into the work that I do with clients. Um, and I guess a willingness to reflect and to reflect on my own humanness and how clients' stories will move me,
Mhm.
or like to reflect on that, like to be open to that, I think is also a human thing that I bring.
Mhm. It sounds like you bring not only all of the work that you've done in yourself into the room, but you also try and bring your whole self into the room as an experience, as somebody to question with, as somebody to empathize with, as somebody to be in pain with, and I feel like the way that you're talking about mindfulness, um, when we bring our mind into a room and it seems open, I feel like that's contagious for other people.
Mm.
And it sounds like that's a lot of the work that you've been doing, just to be curious and questioning, and also containing all at the same time.
That yeah, at least that's the attempt. Yeah, that's what I yeah. And that reminds me of the word like kinship, like being in kinship with
Mhm.
being with, like that humanness is also about so much about relating
Yeah.
to others or relating to ourselves. Um, so yeah, I love how you're like making these connections and summarizing what I'm saying very well.
Well, now that we're at the end, do you feel less anxious?
I do, yeah. Like I could. It's funny. I can sort of trust and just in showing up and letting things just flow. Yeah,
Yeah,
like yeah.
that's the yoga Taz coming out.
That is yes.
Well, I'm so glad that we were able to connect today about your views on humanness and how you bring your human self into the room, and how you use the practice of meditation not only for your own work but for your work with your clients as well. So thank you so much for talking with me.
Yeah, thank you, Abby. Thanks for making it so comfortable.
You're welcome.